Hello BookTube, this is my January 2025 reading plan. I'm going to start my January reading with a reread of the entirety of Fairy Tale by Hiro Mashima, starting with Volume 1. Fairy Tale is one of my favorite manga series. It's about a group of wizards in the Fairy Tale Guild led by Natsu Dragneel, a fire dragon slayer, and Lucy Heartfilia, a celestial spirit mage who meet in the first chapter, together with Natsu's Exceed companion Happy and several other guild members, including Urza and Gray. They go on a number of adventures, usually resulting in copious amounts of property damage, for which the Makarov, the poor guild master of Fairy Tale, has to deal with. I'm really looking forward to this reread. It is 2 years in the making since the last time I read the whole series. So that's first on the docket. Sticking with manga, now Fairy Tale is probably going to take up most of January. I'm guesstimating I should finish by the 17th, but we shall see. But I'm hoping to get to a few more volumes of manga as well over the course of January, including a few more volumes of Bleach by Tite Kubo. Bleach has become one of my favorite series as well. It's about a young man named Ichigo Kurosaki who can see and interact with ghosts. And one day he meets a young woman named Rukia Kuchiki, who is a Shinigami, a Soul Reaper. And in trying to exorcise a corrupted spirit, Rukia has to temporarily pass on her powers to Ichigo, making him a substitute Soul Reaper. And his adventures go from there. I've been loving what I've been reading so far and can't wait to get to more. I just haven't put in an order yet with Barnes & Noble. Also, I just got an email from Book People telling me that my December manga pre-order has shipped. So I should be getting these volumes sometime in the next few days. Probably either this weekend or more likely early next week. And those 3 volumes are If My Tablet Will Cooperate, which apparently it's not. Okay. Let's set that aside and talk about some of the other manga I would like to get to. And these are first volumes. So, Yozakura Family by Hitsuji Gondaira. Hunter x Hunter by Yoshihiro Togashi. And Sakamoto Days by Yuto Suzuki. I wish I'd gotten to them either Monday or Tuesday, but unfortunately I didn't. Okay, now let's see if my tablet will cooperate this time. It did. This is what I get for having an old tablet. It's about going on 7 years old now, I think. So, the 3 volumes of manga that I pre-ordered for in December, which due to some shipping issues, I think, I'm going to get sometime either this weekend or early next week, or Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 24 by Gege Akutami. This is during the Culling Games arc, and I'm loving the series so far. It's about a young man named Yuji Itadori who joins his school's occult club, and they find a cursed finger of an evil sorcerer named Sukuna, who attracts an evil spirit or cursed creature, and it attacks the school, and a student Jujutsu sorcerer named Megumi engages this cursed spirit. And in order to help Megumi, Yuji eats one of these rotten fingers of Sukuna, which grants him enhanced abilities thanks to Sukuna's possession, and the Jujutsu Society decides to kill Yuji. However, a higher ranking member, Gojo, argues successfully that, well, let's wait until after Yuji has eaten all of Sukuna's fingers so that Sukuna is completely contained within Yuji before we kill him. And things go from there. I'm also going to get volume 16 of Zom 100 by Haro Aso and Kotaro Takata. This is a zombie apocalypse manga about a wage slave named Akira who works a soul-sucking dead-end job that when the zombie apocalypse happens, he creates a bucket list of 100 things he would like to do before he becomes a zombie. And he travels across Japan with a number of a large friend group. And also, Volume 10 of Dandadan by Yukinobu Tatsu. This is a series about two young people, Momo and Ken. Momo believes in spirits, the supernatural. Her grandmother is a fairly powerful psychic. Ken believes in aliens. Momo doesn't believe in aliens. Ken does not believe in the supernatural. So they make a bet. And the results of that bet reveal that both the supernatural and aliens exist. And that both Ken and Momo gain supernatural abilities and go on a number of adventures. I am loving this series and I cannot wait to get to volume 10. It's going to be a hoot. So that's my manga plan, or my manga plan for January, which I'm fairly confident I should be able to get to. Although with Fairy Tail taking up so much of January, I'm not entirely sure what else I'll be able to get to. But these next books are what I will try to get to read that's not manga, or at least the options. Although I will definitely be whittling this down quite a bit. So let's get going. I'm going to start with fiction, poetry, drama, and science fiction and fantasy before tackling the Historiathon Tower of Doom. So, let's get you there. Okay. So, one of my thoughts for 2025 is to have yet another reread of the works of Alan Hollinghurst, starting with the Swimming Pool Library. This is a gay novel set in the early 1980s before the AIDS pandemic, and it's about a young man who is wealthy. He's independently wealthy. His grandfather, a very wealthy man, settled the bulk of his estate on his grandson, and which allows the grandson to really not have to do anything if he doesn't want to. But he one day while out cruising, he saves the life of an elderly aristocrat, who then recruits our protagonist to write his biography, and revelations ensue from there. I have had a very mixed reading relationship with this book. Every other reading I have is either a successful read or a bail. And I have a similar dodgy relationship with the rest of Hollinghurst's work. But with Hollinghurst's most recent book coming out, I thought it's another time to try these again, even though I think I tried this for 2024. And I think maybe 2023 too. So Will I get to it in 2025? Will it be a success? I don't know. Watch and find out. I would also like to try to get to the Voyage of Argo by Apollonius of Rhodes. This is a version of Jason and the Argonauts, which I have had in my collection for nearly 20 years, and I really need to get to. I would also like to reread Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf by Edward Albee, but I think I could comfortably set this aside. It's about a very toxic couple entertaining a younger couple who are not quite so toxic to each other. And maybe I should try The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. Not totally sure why I have this in my collection, if I'm honest with you. And for the science fiction and fantasy, I randomly pulled out The Door into Fire by Diane Duane. This is a fantasy series, I think. And The Dragonbone Chair by Ted Williams. This is the first book in the Memories of Our Thorn series, which I guess since I haven't gotten to this, even though I have tried a few of Ted Williams' other work and haven't really liked it, that should I give the unread books in my science fiction and fantasy collection a shot before I get rid of them? Because one thing is certain, I think, in 2025 is that my science fiction and fantasy collection will be much reduced. Now let's move you over so I can deal with this pile of possibilities. So I mentioned in my video yesterday that there was going to be 2 videos. The second video was going to be Liz talking about this Tower of Possibility over here for Historathon Quarter 1, which is a year-long booktube event in which participants read history over the course of the year. It's divided into 4 quarters. The first quarter being prehistory to 500 CE, AD, however you want to term it. So, as I was discussing those books, I increasingly realized that why are some of these books in this pile? A number of them are would be Bell redemptions. I Bell rather frequently, and sometimes I will give a second or more looks at a book, and those are what I call Bell redemptions. And as I was going down the pile, I was increasingly being very critical. And I realized that I really need to cut this pile down significantly. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I think, just read the top book on the pile. Weaver, Scribes, and Kings by Amanda H. Podany. This is a history of the ancient Near East from the development of cuneiform writing to the end of popular usage of cuneiform writing with the conquest of Alexander the Great. This book has been one of my favorites. I think it was my favorite of 2022, and I haven't reread it. And I'm a little wary of a reread because I often get far more critical with rereads than I do with first-time reads. So I don't know. But I'm going to try to reread Weaver, Scribes, and Kings in January. And if it's a success, maybe the pile will make a comeback for February. And if not, I'll think of something. Yeah. So I think, I guess I could go ahead and do a quick rundown of the other books as well. So they are The New Roman Empire by Anthony Caldelas, Byzantium by Judith Herron, The Fall of Egypt and the Rise of Rome by Guy de la Baudoyer, Gladius, also by Guy de la Baudoyer, Antony and Cleopatra by Adrian Goldsworthy, Rome and Persia by Adrian Goldsworthy, which is largely where I realized that maybe I really should not be giving this book a real redemption. Carthage Must Be Destroyed by Richard Miles, and The World by Simon Sebag Montefiore, which could probably work better for March of the Mammoth, or a year-long reading project, which I'm not entirely sure how I would do, but let me go ahead and put this Mammoth back where it belongs. There. And then I'll put the rest of these up while this video is uploading. Okay. Okay. So, outside of the manga, I think Weaver, Scribes, and Kings is a definite. Probably, I think the weekend after I finish Fairy Tail and what needs during the course of the following week, if it works out. And as far as fiction, poetry, drama, and science fiction and fantasy, no. Trouble with Goats and Sheep, no. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Later. So I think Swimming Pool Library and The Voyage of the Argo. So that's not manga. Okay. So that's my January reading plan. Let's see if things work out. Now, normally, I usually will have my reading, like my pile for the month and what I've read over here. But given the fact that I am currently in the process of a 2025 library tour, I'm going to be clearing this top part off so that I can get books that don't have a home up there for the tour. Also, my mom is getting anxious for these two shelving units. I have promised them to her. So, yeah. So I think what I'm going to do with the library tour is do them a bit more frequently, not just over the course of the work week, but also when I have some free time during the weekend. I'll try to do some library tours so I can at least get these to my mom, which I mean wouldn't be that difficult because one would be going to her bedroom and the other one's going into the kitchen. But anyway, so that's the plan. I will see you tomorrow with more of the tour and possibly a tag video. So until then, thank you, BookTube. Have a great afternoon and stay safe and Happy New Year.